I'm Erica Barnhart, and welcome to the Pause and Fast podcast. I've lost 90 pounds using healthy eating and clean fasting, but more importantly, I've gained clarity, confidence, and a love for real self-care. This podcast is about sharing what I've learned and creating a community where we can grow together. One mindful choice, one fast, and one day at a time. Because every time you pause, it's a choice. When you stop just for a moment, you take back your control. When you sip water instead of reaching for a snack, when you breathe instead of rushing, fasting is power, because when you pause, you're choosing yourself. So grab a cup of coffee or your water, take a deep breath, and let's dive in together. And now for a quick disclaimer. The views and experiences shared on this podcast are of my own and my guests, and they're meant for information and inspiration. They are not a prescription. I am not a medical professional, so please don't take my word over your doctor's. We'll be chatting about things like intermittent fasting and hormone health. And while it might sound like we've tried it all, your body is unique. So before changing your diet or your hormone health plan, check in with your healthcare provider. This podcast is all about sharing ideas and good conversations, not medical instructions. So always listen to your body. It usually knows what's up. Hi, I'm Erica Barnhart, and welcome to the Pause and Fast podcast. I am so excited to introduce my guest today, Rebecca Smith. Rebecca is 60 years old and she lives in Northern California. She works as a school psychologist, and I'm so excited to have you here, Rebecca. How are you today?
Thank you, Erica. I'm a little nervous. I've never done a podcast. This is very new for me, but like you, I'm super passionate about fasting.
Well, thank you so much for stepping outside of your comfort zone to talk to me. I love that. So I was so nervous my first podcast too. I was like sweating and my voice was shaking, but it's a lot of fun, and let's just have fun and talk about fasting together, right?
Great.
That sounds great. So one way that I have been wanting to start my conversations is asking, when and why did you begin intermittent fasting?
So I have two separate and very different IF stories. I first encountered fasting in the summer of 2019 because I read the obesity code, and honestly, I'm not sure why that came across my desk, but it did. And I read the obesity code. I really liked it. The science made sense to me. And so I thought, oh yeah, this sounds really healthy, like a healthy, good thing to do for not only my weight, but all the things. And somehow, Erica, I missed the message about clean fasting. I didn't get that message. So for about 4 or 5 months, I did like a 16-8 schedule, but I really wasn't fasting at all because I was putting soy milk in my tea and sweetener in my tea, the sugar-free kind, you know,
Of
spiking
course.
my insulin.
Yeah, not even realizing it.
Exactly. So after 4 or 5 months, I thought, well, I don't really feel any different, and I hadn't lost any weight. And so I abandoned it completely. And it wasn't until a number of life changes happened right around my 59th birthday, a lot of things changed. We moved across the country. I'm from New England. I'm not from Northern California originally. So that's over a 3,000-mile move. And I had been working full time in person in the same school for 20 years, and I went to working remotely part-time. I am actually still with that same school district, but now I live across the country.
Interesting. So you moved across the country, way far away, brand new job, everything changed.
Everything changed, and I had this space now in my life to focus on my health. The last 3 years that I lived on the East Coast, I was taking care of my elderly parents. My dad passed in 2021 and my mom in 2023. And I really saw things that frightened me.
Okay. Were they
Yeah,
living unhealthy lifestyles?
they really weren't. My parents were pretty healthy people, but there's dementia in my family, there's heart disease in my family, and most especially bone disease. My mom was bedbound the last few months of her
Oh,
life.
wow.
Her bones had just deteriorated. So that frightened me, and I started thinking I really need to take better care of myself in all the
Things like that sometimes are eye-opening.
yes. And so I started kind of researching, okay, what kinds of things can I do to preserve my memory? What kinds of things can I do to preserve my bones? And fasting came up. And then I remembered, oh yeah, the obesity code. I need to give that another look. And I came across the fasting highway.
Okay, by Graham Curry, and then the obesity code is by Dr. Jason Fung, in
Yes,
case
Dr.
anybody's looking for the.
Yep, that's exactly right. And
Yes.
several different intermittent fasting podcasts, Jen Stevens, and well, I guess, and primarily Graham's. So that made me think, I was doing this wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe I should try doing it right.
Imagine that. So many people are attached to those little things, like the cream in their coffee or the Splenda in their tea. What else? I hear a lot of people saying the words fasted snacks, which seems like an oxymoron to me. It doesn't make a lot of sense. So, but when you really dig a little deeper, it makes a lot of sense.
Well, I definitely fell prey to that mindset of if it's sugarless, it's fine. And so I had not just three or four, but I had an entire wardrobe of sugar-free syrups, like the skinny syrups. Oh, yes, I had hazelnut, I had vanilla, I had cinnamon, I had all the different flavors, and I put them in tea, in coffee. Honestly, some of them I would even put in water if they were fruity flavored.
Okay.
I drank sugar-free drinks, diet sodas all day long.
I did the same thing before I was fasting. I loved Diet Coke. I was always drinking something. Another thing I was very attached to was Diet iced tea. In my mind, it was,
Right.
diet.
I really thought those were equally okay for my body as water. And it wasn't until I stopped drinking those things and focused on real water and carbonated
Real
water.
water.
Yeah, it just made such a huge difference to my appetite, to my bloating. I was very bloated before. I didn't even realize it. But all of a sudden, my rings were getting loose. I feel like I saw a difference in my face pretty quickly.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
mhm. That
How long
inflammation.
ago did you recommit to doing clean fasting?
So just over a year ago, really.
Okay.
I started before the holiday season, and then every holiday, we have kids our kids are in their early 20s. And so when they're here for like a month because of school break. Yeah. And I got a little sidetracked last year, but this year, you'll be glad to hear, I stayed committed to my fasting the whole time, and it was great. It wasn't hard.
Wow. Well, that is something to mention. We just came out of the holidays. It's still early January. And whenever we started talking, you had family in town. And I had read that they were there extended, like more than just a couple days.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about that? What were your eating patterns like whenever you had these guests in town?
Well, I feel really fortunate because my body just loves fasting. And so I don't have to really do long extended fasts. I can do between 16 and 18 hours daily. And that's great. I don't really have to do much more than that. I'm probably going to anger some people listening,
No.
you know, because when I started very simply, like 10, then 16.8. And I did that for probably the first 6 months. And I just very steadily lost a few pounds here, a few pounds there. And I didn't really start paying attention to my weight until February because I noticed things were getting loose. My clothes were getting loose. And I thought, I better see what's going on with my weight. And I'm 5'7". I have weighed as little as 118. That was when I was on the cigarettes and Diet Coke. Super unhealthy, but super thin. And
Probably
then
too thin for 5'7".
I think so, yeah. It was not a healthy time for me, college, that's for sure.
I'm also 5'7", so I could only imagine. I don't think I've been 118 pounds since second grade.
Let's just say I did not have need of a bra.
Uh,
I look, I looked like an 11-year-old boy at, at,
yes.
at that weight. And the heaviest I've been is when my children were toddlers. I was close to 190, which again, that doesn't sound terribly high for 5'7", but I didn't fit into any of my clothes. I didn't feel good. I was tired all the time, bloated, inflamed, just prone to things like mood swings, a lot of mood swings. I was managing my moods with sugar and caffeine.
And that's not a healthy pattern at all. But
Yeah.
what does your typical eating schedule look like for just a typical week? No guests involved.
Yeah, I'm usually between a 16 and 18-hour fast every day. I occasionally take a day off if there's a reason to. And on those days when I say take a day off, I just mean I might start eating at mid-morning and not really pay attention to the clock. And then I occasionally have days where, because of work, I might fast as long as 20 or 21 hours. But typically, most days, 17, 18 hours is very normal for me.
That's awesome. And so you figured out something that works for you, but yet still have the flexibility, which I always talk to, because I don't know about you, but the first question I get is like, when do you eat? And it does change. You just, yeah. Some
Right.
days it's a longer window than others. Some days it's a short window. Depends on what's happening.
It's funny though, I find like eating before 10 a.m. just feels disgusting to me now. I just can't do it. And then by like 2 in the afternoon, if I haven't eaten, I'm really hungry. So,
Okay.
but anywhere in between there is fine, comfortable.
I love that. Yes. And how about your food choices? We talked about the Diet Coke diet, but how are your food choices and eating patterns changed since starting?
I really have felt the change there strongly. So much so that I went out and bought Dr. Bert Herring's Appetite Correction book. I don't know if you've read that book.
I have not, but I have heard of it. It's on my list.
It's so good because I thought, what is happening? What is
Yes.
the foods I wanted really started to change. I was craving things like baked potatoes and squash, beets, Brussels
Oh, I
sprouts,
love
all the
beets.
vegetables. Yeah, so good. And could feel when I'm full, and to the point where the idea of continuing to eat once that full feeling comes on, it's unpleasant.
Yes. Yes.
I
And I
have
go around my plate and look for the best things since I know I'm getting full. I'm like, what do I want to make sure I get in there, right? But before I would have cleaned the whole thing without thinking.
absolutely, Erica. That was so new for me. I really didn't recognize fullness before, and it just happened. I wasn't that aware of it. And when it started happening to me, I thought, what is happening? This is so strange.
Yeah, but wonderful too. It's
Hmm.
very intuitive.
Yes, because from that, well, I guess this goes back to mindset. My mindset from about menopause on, which for me would be early 50s, early to mid 50s on, I felt like my body's broken now. It doesn't work. I can't lose weight. I was very, my relationship with my body was kind of antagonistic or alienated, I guess would
Yeah.
be a word. And fasting has allowed me to trust my body, to hear her, to respect her, to appreciate her. And that is valuable.
It's so much freedom too. I can relate to that so strongly. I remember actually being angry at myself for being hungry when it didn't make sense. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but like I know I would have this wonderful dinner. I knew that all of my nutrients had been met and I would lay in bed and be hungry at night still. And I'm like, I know that my body does not need food. And all of that went away. That appetite correction kicked in. It's crazy how it just happens. Well, one day you're so frustrated with yourself, and the next day your body is talking to you. You're hearing it all of a sudden.
Yes, and I don't know about you, but I grew up in this, like the McDonald's slogan, time to lean, time to clean. If you have time to lean, you have time to clean. And so the idea of giving myself rest if I was tired, no, no, just have a snack.
How can we fuel myself for more energy? It's
Yeah.
kind of a vicious cycle. I think people still, I see it all the time. People getting their energy drinks or always trying to fuel themselves with a candy bar or something, a pick me up,
Hmm.
or the messages that we get are, you're not feeling like yourself. You might need a Snickers bar when actually you might just need a couple minutes to breathe and think about it.
Yeah, I feel like before fasting, my ability to identify what was going on in my body and then appropriately respond didn't exist. It was like if I was tired, I had a snack. If I was moody, I had a snack. If I felt restless, like, oh, I need to go for a walk or something, I'd have a snack. I didn't really listen or understand what my body needed, nor did I respond appropriately. Now I can really differentiate, oh, I'm tired from I'm restless or actual real hunger.
That's beautiful. I love that. And it's one of my most favorite things I didn't expect. Now, you did mention how you had your menopause and you felt a little bit defeated by that.
Yeah.
So, had you already finished your menopause by the time you found fasting then?
Yes. Yeah. I
Okay.
had, even in 2019, I have to
Okay.
go. Yeah. Even in 2019. Well, it's hard to say because when I felt like I went from zero menopause, no symptoms, to all the things
Everything all at once.
overnight, like hot flashes, night sweats, even my teeth hurt. I thought, I had so many symptoms all at once. And I have an older sister. So I called her and I said, okay, what am I in for here? And she told me it took 7 years for
Oh my
her to
gosh.
go from start to finish. And I thought, I can't last 7 days like this. I
No.
can't do 7 years. So fortunately for me, I had a very good OBGYN and we did do hormone replacement therapy, although it took me a while to find the right, like, turns out I'm allergic to medical adhesive, so I can't do patches.
Okay.
Yeah,
That
I was
makes
getting these
sense.
red welts on my body where the patches had been.
Okay. Well, luckily there are some other options out there as
There
well. There's
are,
a lot.
yeah, there's a lot. So I had medically managed menopause, and that was very helpful for me.
That's great news. And I'm glad you found something that worked for you. Those are all decisions I know I'm facing soon. So I've been making it a point to ask. And honestly, just to reiterate that, everybody has said they had to play around with a little bit to see what worked for them. So that's good advice as well. Intermittent fasting affects your hormonal symptoms now.
I do think so because I've noticed a huge change in my sleep. People in my family don't sleep well. I'm probably the best sleeper in my family, and that's not saying much. I used to take medication for sleep,
Okay.
even just over the counter medication daily. And now I've tapered off that completely. I really don't need it. I sleep pretty great naturally.
That's wonderful.
That's a
And
big,
that helps so many other things, right?
yeah, definitely. Waking up, and you know what's new, Erica? This has just started happening. I'm not really feeling like I need coffee in the morning. What?
What?
It's
Who are
true.
you?
I know. I mean, I do have a little, but I don't need it the way I used to need it.
I understand that. I used to, if I skipped coffee for some reason or if we ran out, I would get like this bad headache in the morning and I'd feel really off. And I still like my coffee. I'm not going to lie about it. I do like it. But I just shared this example. Sometimes I travel for work and I'll get ready for work. I won't even have my coffee. I might be up for 2 hours before I have it. And I
Mhm.
do feel fine. I feel like I could have probably went the whole rest of the day without it, but I do like it. So I get it anyway. But what a nice feeling to be relieved from that.
Yeah, I tell myself that I can have whatever I want for a beverage during my window. So if I wanted a creamy coffee or I wanted a fancy tea, or even if I wanted like a diet soda or a sugar soda, I would allow myself to have it. But the longer I live this lifestyle, the less interested I am in those things.
Yes, like your body doesn't even want it anymore.
Yeah, when my kids were here, we went out to a cafe and I had a chai latte. I love chai latte, and I hadn't had one. And it was so sweet. Couldn't believe how sweet it tasted to me.
Same here. Starbucks had this cherry chai latte. I don't know if you remember or not, but I love chai lattes. I hadn't had one in years. So I was like, I really want to try this. And I had one and it was way too sweet. I didn't finish it. The first couple sips were just okay. I was like, okay, that was my last chai latte, I think, as well. I don't know if it's something that changes inside. Even I think about my gut microbiome, it craves what you feed it. So maybe it just doesn't even like those things anymore. It just prefers water.
And the idea that this would happen naturally, this is what I mean about restoring a relationship of trust with my own body. Like I've learned that she knows what to do, and I can heal and I can be at a healthy weight without having to rein her in and control her, which is my old way
You
of
need
being.
to rein in the beast, but you're just now supporting it and she's showing you what works for her. And everybody's different, and that's beautiful. I love it. So you did mention that it's just a little bit. So it has influenced your mindset, of course, but how has intermittent fasting influenced your mindset, your stress levels, your entire emotional well-being?
It's inspired me to make other changes that are kind of like simplification changes. I have a very simple, comfortable wardrobe now. Part of that is because I work on camera instead of in person. So if I want to wear pajama bottoms, no one has to know.
Shh. Doing the quiet face. I actually have these really funny pictures, Rebecca. I was doing a Zoom presentation, and on the top half, I'm in like this gorgeous blazer. I'm full makeup and hair, and I'm literally wearing basketball shorts and Crocs, and everybody just laughs at it. But you can understand that, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So I don't need a lot of fancy things anymore. I'm happy with simpler things, and I've started meditating.
Nice.
It's been over a year now. That was kind of my New Year's resolution last year. And other than maybe 4 or 5 times that I missed, I've been doing that every day.
May I ask how you got started with meditation?
Absolutely. So I use YouTube videos. I started with like 2 minutes, then 5 minutes. Now I do 10 to 15 minutes every day. I tend to choose ones that are mostly music with not a lot of talking.
Okay.
And the focus is just on mindfulness, being present, listening to your breath, kind of sending my energy to wherever in my body feels tired or worn out, which for me is usually my low back.
So you just think about that part of your body, though. That's so cool. I downloaded an app. I can't. I'd have to look it up, but it was a meditation app and started playing with it. There's so much you can learn on YouTube, though. But same kind of thing. It was just focusing on your breath, and I was really enjoying it. I think I'm gonna get back into that. I'm gonna be more mindful about that.
So that is something I wouldn't have thought I would do. People who know me know that I have a lot of restless energy. I'm a pacer, fidgeter. I'm very fidgety. So
Always moving.
to be able to be still and present and calm is kind of new.
What a gift for your body. That is awesome. So, what kind of surprising benefits have you experienced that aren't related to weight loss?
The mental clarity. This is huge because I am 60 and I forget words sometimes, or where I've put my keys or my phone, or a variety of repetitive tasks. Did I do that or was that yesterday? So I've noticed my ability to hold on to information and learn new information feels enhanced,
That's
especially
awesome.
in the mornings. Because I live on the West Coast and I work on the East Coast, my work is in the morning. So I have to be
Yes.
up on camera, ready to go 7 a.m. And I'm usually done by noon. And I thought initially, like, how am I going to do that? I'm going to need a gallon of coffee. But I feel like fasting really helps me focus.
That's awesome. So you're able to get up early in the morning and already be able to focus on your work for the day.
Yes. And when I'm done for the day, I have all this physical energy because I've been sitting in front of a camera. And so I usually go for a really nice bike ride or a walk. I'm so fortunate to live in Northern California. It's gorgeous here. It's never a problem, even though we've had a lot of rain recently.
Yes, but much different than the Northeast, right?
Very different, yes. And I still, of course, have family in especially New Hampshire and Maine. And so I hear about it. I hear about the sleet and the snow and the freezing cold. And my daughter lives in Wisconsin.
Okay, so they have some snow there as well. You get to have pictures of it. It sounds like you can go visit if you want to. You're living the best life there. I'm a little bit jealous.
Come see me.
Okay, well, I would love that. I do. I love visiting California. So the weather's great. I was there in
And
San Diego not very long ago, and it was April, and I was swimming. My mother was so jealous, and I'm from Pittsburgh, so swimming in April is just unheard of.
you
Yeah.
are correct. It's lovely, but also the fresh produce.
Oh, tell me about that.
Yeah, I've learned slowly to start cooking seasonally. I'm so lucky I live right near a fresh fruit stand where there is fruit and veg right off the farm every single day. It's affordable. I mean,
Nice. I love
good
that. I
stuff.
love local farm markets as well. Do you have a lot of those in your area, like artisan farmers?
Yes. Yeah, there's a farmer's market every Wednesday and Saturday in my town. And then this fruit stand that's near us, it's not just fruit. I think it started off that way, but now they sell all kinds of things there. But there were things I had never heard of being a New Englander. Like, what is a persimmon? I had no idea. Yeah, it's
I
a
have
type
no
of fruit.
idea.
Quite tasty, actually.
What is it, like a melon, or what would you compare it to?
I would say it's a cross between like a tomato and an apricot.
All right. Now I have goals.
It's smooth skinned like a tomato. It's kind of shaped like that, but a little smaller and more
Okay.
dense. and sweeter. The color is like an apricot. It's kind of that goldeny orange color.
And do you just eat them raw or do you cook them?
Yeah, I slice them up and eat them and put them on a salad. They're not a really sweet fruit. Like I don't think it would be a. I've never heard of, for example, persimmon pie. I don't think you'd make a pie out of
Okay.
it. Maybe more like the way people from the South treat green tomatoes.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting. How fun. So you're like in a new area, you get to try all kinds of new food. And I love the idea of eating seasonally. It's something I've been trying to do more often as well. Like I look at and see what vegetables are actually growing and were delivered to me and make sense, right?
And I was super ignorant of those kinds of things. Like, for example, right now, we're in my region, it's citrus season. So, limes, lemons, oranges, grapefruits, abundant, delicious, affordable. And so, like, I'm making a noodle dish tonight, but I'm going to throw some lime on it. Why not?
Oh, that's wonderful. I love that. In my yard, I have an apple tree and a peach tree, and my neighbors have a pear tree. None of them are in bloom right now, but like every late summer, early fall, all of a sudden it's like everybody's making everything with peaches. I'll throw it on everything. I'm putting it in stew. I'm like, whatever, there's peaches in here.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. You're at about 1 year intermittent fasting. So you've found some tools and resources that are working for you. What kind of tools and resources do you recommend whenever people ask you, or what would you recommend to the audience?
For me, listening to podcasts has been really helpful, especially if I'm out on a walk or I'm in the last sort of hour. Well, especially when I first started, I was watching the clock. It was very new and weird to not have breakfast and to try to make it until lunch. And I
Mm-hmm.
needed things to kind of make me feel like I'm not a weirdo. This is okay. There's a
Yeah.
learning curve. And that metabolic switch that people talk about, I definitely feel that now. I used to kind of be obsessed, like smelling my own breath. Am I in ketosis or whatever it is that people
Oh, yeah.
are looking for? And I don't worry about any of that now. I just know my body can switch between carbs if they're available or fat if they're not.
I love metabolic flexibility. Can we touch on that for just a second since you brought
Hmm.
it up?
Yeah.
That was a concept, I don't know about you, Rebecca, but was brand new to me. I had come from doing a keto diet before, and I had this, I don't know if you're very familiar with it, but I'm sure you've heard of it.
Yeah.
um, but I had thought, I had this mindset like if I stopped doing keto and started eating carbs, I would be sick and get keto flu. Does that
Oh,
make sense? So I couldn't understand how I could eat normal foods and be in ketosis. So, but actually, as it turns out, when you train your body, you could be a sugar burner or a fat burner, and it will switch. Once it burns out of its glycogen store, then it will
mhm.
go into the deep freezer, like Dr. Jason Fung says, and get some stuff out of the freezer. And you don't feel keto flu. It actually feels very good. There's just, I don't know about it for you. I guess for everybody, it's probably different. But mine usually happens at about 14 hours fasted or so. I get this like little hunger spike, maybe a little like, ooh, tingle. I'm like, and then it's gone and I feel energized, focused, and great. And I can make it without any problems. So I feel like that's exactly when I'm like, oh, I'm out of glycogen and now we're switching to fat and there's no sickness or anything. And that's just something I couldn't wrap my head around when I first started. I was like, how does this happen? And I think it's just amazing how your body is so intuitive. You gotta
Absolutely.
trust your body.
100% agree. So yes, anything that has Dr. Fung's name on it. He has a new book that's about to come out called The Hunger Code. I'm counting the
Yes. I think it's March, so don't quote me on it. I am
Yes.
also excited, and it seems I've been watching some of the videos. He's been launching some videos and just talking about even ways to eat so that you have better satiety. So I'm excited to see what take he has on that and take his information and use it for my own life and one of my own tools.
Hmm.
He's so smart. And he also has a podcast as well, but he's not always on the podcast. But it's like, am I right in
Yes,
that?
yes. I'm trying to
Okay.
remember the name of it. It's like the fasting method, I think.
The fasting method. Yes.
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 So
I
I've
have
listened.
listened to that.
Yep. And then another person that I really enjoy is the glucose goddess.
Yes.
I have noticed that my daily routine, and I don't know if this is typical, but I tend to open around noon with like yesterday I had an omelet with Swiss cheese, mushrooms, onion, and a little pesto.
Yum.
It was delicious.
Sounds good.
Today I wasn't very hungry, so I just had some cottage cheese and banana. But so I'll have a really solid, good lunch. Then, this is going to sound strange, I'll have tea time in the afternoon around 3, which is usually a mug of tea, which I love, and some kind of a snack. And this is when my sweet tooth gets me, is in the mid-afternoon. I'll have
Okay.
something sweet, but then I don't have a dessert or anything. I'll just have dinner and be done at, say, 6.
And something that the glucose goddess, I'm sorry, I don't remember her full name, but she's on Instagram, says to sandwich your carbs. So that's a suggestion. So instead of, it's either putting it at the end of your meal or in the middle, not at the beginning, is the goal, right? I've been doing that as well. In fact, I did that today. I had a little snack a couple hours ago before we started. I had some veggies and hummus and some cheese. And I'm like, well, I want something just a little sweet. So I had some dried fruit and nuts. So I'm like, I'm going to kind of sandwich this in the middle, and then I'm going to eat dinner with my family after our discussion today. But I already had something a little bit sweet and got that off of my list, but also enjoyed it. It was fun.
Yeah, and I mean my pre-fasting habit was that's how I would end my day. And when I say end my day, I mean I would be in bed with a piece of cake.
Yeah.
Yes, I ended my day with sweets. And now I had a super huge sweet tooth. If I could have just lived off of chocolate and coffee, that would have been fine with me. And now I can't say that I've fully lost my sweet tooth, but I'll have just something at that tea time and I'm good.
It just checks the box for you a little bit. I understand that. I used to end my day with cereal, sweet cereal. So I'm literally in bed. And then in the morning, that bowl would be next to me and I'd carry it downstairs and I'd start eating again. So that was my fasting before, and that was not very much at all. That's awesome. So what advice would you give to somebody who's just starting intermittent fasting or they're considering trying it?
Definitely trust the process. And that is easier said than done. Because as I mentioned, I really thought my body was broken. I thought that postmenopausal, forget about it. I'm not willing to work that hard. And I haven't had to. Just going from that adversarial or alienated relationship to partnering with my body and trusting that, in fact, that's a relationship. And I can put some energy into that relationship and start listening. Yeah, so I would tell someone starting out, your body isn't broken. You're not broken. It may take a long time. There's a lot of healing that goes on the inside, and that's different for different people before the scale starts to move. The focus for me, I didn't ever actually say what I've lost. When I started about over a year ago, I was around 160 pounds.
Okay.
And I'm 135 now.
Okay. So about 25 pounds released.
Yeah, and I don't really focus on that number. I tend to kind of, since July, maybe August, I've been somewhere between 132 and 137. And
Okay.
and I did the 28-day reset. I'm one of the Facebook groups, which actually I'm not even on social media except for this challenge. There was a 28-day challenge. And I
That's
had
fun.
I had never done that, the 28-day reset. I had never done that. So I thought, well, let me do that. And I didn't weigh myself for that whole time. And this was over the holidays, Erica. I fully
Oh, my
expected
word.
that I would be way up because
Yeah.
I allowed myself to have Christmas cookies and all the things. I mean, within a window, and I didn't want that many. I'd have one or one and a half and be like, I'm good. And at the end of the 28 days, I got on the scale. I was 135.8.
Oh, so about the same. Isn't
Yeah.
that amazing? So it works. You were able to live your lifestyle comfortably, enjoy the time with your family, and still didn't see a large weight gain.
Hmm.
That I love that. I had a similar experience. I still had some cookies. I ate the things that my family was eating. I never felt deprived. And even before, whenever I was a plus size person, sometimes I would go and still feel deprived because I denied myself certain things. But I don't feel like I do that anymore.
I think if you're just starting out, the temptation for me is to, like I said, I used to try to micromanage my body and count all the points and the calories,
Hmm.
how long I exercised and where my heart rate was and all those things. And to relax into it and trust that as long as you maintain a clean fast, you're going to start, that relationship with your body is going to start to change and improve. And you're going to be able to hear what you crave, what you're what you actually crave and when you're done. Um,
There's so much freedom in that. Absolutely. No, we had just talked briefly too that you had reached a weight loss goal that wasn't like the biggest thing. So, what is going to keep you fasting?
this is kind of a weird little sidebar. I think it's related to fasting, though.
Okay.
During the pandemic, I started learning a foreign language.
Cool.
We were all stuck at home, right? And I really was witnessing dementia and memory loss in my dad during that time, and it terrified me. And I thought, I really need to start challenging my brain with something hard. So I started dabbling, with just foreign language apps, and I wasn't consistent with that either until probably the summer of 2022. And then I thought,
Okay.
I'm going to really try. I'm going to try to learn another language. So I started taking French lessons.
Nice.
And I'm so lucky because in this community that we moved to a year and a half ago, I have found a French conversation group that I meet with once or twice a week. And fasting, in my opinion, has helped me learn a foreign language. That's going to sound crazy, but I can remember things. I'm surprised. I actually just yesterday spoke to a French person and he said to me, "Your French is better. It's much better."
That's very validating. That is so cool. And I believe it. You said that your focus is better, you have better memory retention, but to learn a new language and be able to hold a conversation with somebody in your adult life is just so awesome. That's something to be proud of, and I believe it as well.
Well, it's definitely been a fun hobby.
Yes, well, that's what I found too with fasting. Yeah, it awakens something even in your brain, and all of a sudden I have a lot of hobbies. Podcasting, one of them. But all of a sudden your brain wakes up, you're like, I want to do all these amazing things because I feel so capable and confident to try.
Right. It gives you energy to try, confidence to try. What's the worst thing that can happen? I don't know. I feel like my world has just expanded.
I agree. And we're always learning, and I'm learning so much from other people. And that's part of the reason I'm doing this is to meet people like you and to help inspire others.
The thing I struggle with, honestly, Erica, is keeping my mouth shut when people don't want to hear it. There are people in my life that I would love to just drone on and on and on about how great fasting is, but you're ready when you're ready, I guess.
That is one frustrating thing. How do you handle that? Do a lot of people ask, and do you feel comfortable sharing?
I don't.
Okay.
No. In fact, I really hesitated before even doing this podcast because, no, I don't talk about it.
Well, maybe this is somewhere you could refer them to. So you could say, I told my story. This is, where I'm at. I try to share it with anybody willing to listen, but I also understand, just like you, not everybody's ready, not everybody's interested, not every time is appropriate. So I'm glad that we're creating things like this, though. If someone's interested, then they could have an outlet or a way to listen to learn more about it.
I think part of that goes back to the weight loss element because I was never morbidly obese. I've definitely been overweight at times. That's not my primary motivator. And yet, when people hear about intermittent fasting, that's the assumption. Well, why would you do that? You don't need to lose weight. That's not
Yeah.
actually why I'm doing it. But it's confusing and it's kind of off-putting, and so I just kind of keep it to myself.
People say the same thing, like, you've lost the weight and why are you still fasting? And I think that's one of the biggest points of this conversation. I will always be a faster for these things, like, because I'm able to maintain my weight even whenever I have company in for several weeks over the holidays, right? Inflammation is lower. You had said your lower back pain. How is that doing now? Does it seem to help with fasting?
Oh, it's so much better. It really is. Actually, guess what I got for Christmas?
What'd you get?
A rebounder.
Oh, wow. Is it so fun?
It is really fun and it's new for me, and I feel like it's challenging. My right hip is where I tend to have that sort of inflammation and soreness, and sometimes it gets stiff or even kind of goes out.
Yeah.
I feel like I might fall, and rebounding is very, very good for that, for balance, coordination, sort of strengthening my joints.
Yes. Yes. Strengthening a lot of things. They say your pelvic wall, your bones. I've been so interested in a rebounder. Tell me about how much space do you need to have a rebounder?
Not very much.
Okay.
More than a yoga mat, but
Okay.
not a lot more.
But not a lot more. Maybe a small corner of a room could work out, or a spot in your basement, or it would fit into someone's personal home gym.
Mine is in my garage,
In
and
your garage?
yep, that works out
Yeah.
well because it's Northern California, so it's never that cold in my garage.
Just keep rubbing it in, Rebecca. I'm just kidding. That's funny. Yeah, I had mentioned a rebounder, and my husband's like, "Where are you gonna put that?" I'm like, "Let me get back to you on that. That's another question." But I'll play him this segment to let him know it's not very large at all.
It's and they do sell rebounders that where the legs fold down and you can just tuck them.
Okay.
Mine isn't that type, but they do exist. So people travel with them even.
Oh, wow. I need to do more research. That's pretty cool. So you could probably fit one even in a small apartment if you were committed.
I think so. Yeah, I do.
That's awesome. So meditation, rebounding. Is there any other forms of exercise that you've been enjoying? Bike riding,
Yeah.
you had mentioned that.
Yes. Yep, bike riding. And something that I had never done before is bar. Do you know what I mean by bar classes?
I have heard of them. Yes, I've never done them.
I had never done them either. And now I go to bar about 3 times a week, usually.
Oh, wonderful. So you like it?
I
Is it
really like it. It's very fun. You use a lot of props. So things like yoga blocks and those small inflatable balls and the stretchy bands. There's a kind of band that's a circle that they call a booty band.
oh cool?
Hand weights, the actual bar itself. So you use a lot of props and it's just a good full body all over strengthener and the classes are short. They're 30 to 45 minutes.
That's very doable too. I like that. I don't want to spend hours. I don't know if anybody has time for that.
No,
No,
same.
thank you.
An hour is my absolute max and these classes are 30 to 45 minutes, so that works great. And each instructor uses whatever kind of music they like and it's a lot of variety.
I love that. I'll have to check it out. I think they are coming to my area, but I've never gone to one before. So maybe I'll check that out. My issue right now, to be very honest, is I love being outside. That's not an issue, but it's winter. So I'm always looking for something to do indoors. And I've been doing some yoga and I have a vibration plate, but I'm like ready for the next level. So,
Yeah, I was surprised and I definitely felt super uncoordinated the first few months. I'd just be in the back following along quietly.
oh no,
Now,
I'm
it's you'll learn.
I'm the worst. I look like a Muppet, so, but as long as you're having fun, that's all that really matters, right? I have never gone to a class and looked around and been like, these people look like fools. I'm like, no, we all look like fools together.
But fasting makes you a little bit braver, don't you think?
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. And because it gets you just in the right mental headspace that just I'm able to focus on what really matters and brave, more confident. Absolutely. And fasting's always going to be there to help support that. I love it.
Right, and it gets you in touch with the fact that life is right now. It's happening right now. So don't miss it.
Don't miss it. Life is short, right? And it's never too late to start either. I have talked to people in their 20s who have started, and I've now talked to people in their 70s, 60s who have started, or even beyond. But anybody can benefit from just a little bit of digestive rest and giving their body what it needs.
I'm so grateful that this clicked in for me at age 59 because honestly, turning 60 was humbling.
Really.
Yeah, there's something about that number. It's a big number, and I feel great. I'm so grateful for that.
I am about to have my 4-year fast anniversary, and I'm 45. So I found it at 41. Yay!
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm so grateful I found it every day. Like I said, I'm lucky and thankful that I won't have to go through that hormonal change in my life without it. I really feel like I've set myself up to have a better experience or at least understand my body a little bit better. But it's never too late to start. It's great. Even if, like you had said, you start with 12 or 14 hours, giving your body a rest is so beneficial. You could probably hear my dogs.
That's a
Yes,
that's a happy noise.
that's a happy noise. I have 3 dogs, and I think that my daughter just pulled in, so that's okay though. She knows that we're recording. She'll come over in a minute. But if you hear the dogs, I'm sorry. They're good dogs. Everything's okay.
They're just doing their job.
Yeah, they like warm weather too. I take them on walks and everything too. We're all like bummed. We can't wait for the nice weather. Do you have any animals?
So at the moment, no. My cat, sadly, she passed. And we had her, gosh, boy, we had her a long time, almost 20 years.
Yeah.
Anyway,
They're like a part of the family, right?
yes, yes, I didn't get out of bed for a day.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, I'm not really ready yet for a new pet, but I guarantee you, Erica, there will be more pets in my life.
Absolutely. Yes, you've got a lot more life to live, and some creature is going to be so lucky to have you as their mom. So, especially the healthy you that will remember all of their things to take care of them. That's funny. Well, thank you so much. Is there anything else that you would tell somebody or any advice that you'd like to give?
Just start. It doesn't take any preparation. You know,
It
if
doesn't.
whatever your last meal was, add 12 hours to that until your next one. That's how you start.
That's great advice, and that is the easiest way to start. Just start. There's no rules. Just start changing your mindset from what I eat to when I eat, and the rest will follow.
100%. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much today, Rebecca. It was such a pleasure to meet you virtually, and I really appreciate you sharing your story. I know it's going to help somebody.
Thank you, Erica. It's been a great pleasure, and I love your podcast. I'm so happy. Just the name alone, just the pause. Just putting in a pause. Yes.
I agree. I think there's so much power just to taking a moment to reflect, and it's never a bad idea. And it works for me all the time. Every time I have a moment of doubt or I'm thinking about eating earlier than I planned, I just take a pause and then I'm able to decide with clarity if it's the right thing to do or not. So when in doubt, just take a moment for yourself and think about it.
Amen, sister.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks, Erica.
Thank you so much for listening to the Pause and Fast podcast. It truly means the world to have you here showing up for yourself and for this community. So please remember to subscribe to this channel and like and share this video with anybody who's interested in intermittent fasting. If you want to keep the conversation going, then please join us at the Pause and Fast Facebook group. It's where we connect with each other and support each other on this journey. You can also follow me on TikTok and Instagram for more fasting tips and advice. And if you feel compelled to share your journey, I would be honored to hear it. So please email me at pause.and.fast@gmail.com. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. So thank you again for listening. And until then, I'm cheering you on. So let's keep moving forward for great health together. Have a great day.